This is my audience. I'll still be here later, promise. Now, imagine you're walking in downtown Dallas and a woman approaches you, asking you for directions, knowing that her true target is actually right there in her sights. As you go ahead and you maybe point her, oh yeah, it's up there around the corner, or you pull out your phone and actually give her directions, you should go along your way. And she pulls her phone back out, makes a quick call. And now the little walk that you thought you had to your hotel room turns into a race against time. A race in which the only person bet to lose was just trying to give directions. All right, my name is Joshua Anderson Kopp, and today we're going to be talking to you about human trafficking. Now, I myself did not know a lot about human trafficking a few years ago. This is a very, not unrealistic, but unheard of idea for me. Until I'd seen the movie Taken with Liam Neeson. I know that's fictional, obviously, but it's had a sort of realism to it that really brought the Amber Alerts and missing child cases to my attention just a lot more. Every time my phone buzzed or we'd see it on the news, it actually just made it a little bit more real that somebody's child could actually be going through that same situation. Now, according to the 2016 article, 56 little known human trafficking facts, there are about 80% of the people who are humanly trafficked are under the age of 24 and they're sexually exploited. Now, why should you care about that? Because a lot of people who are in this audience right now probably have children under the age of 24. And it kind of brings a realism to the fact that your child, not only could they end up kidnapped, but they could also end up being used for one of these sexual exploitations. Just to reel you in real quick. Now, as you know, today we're going to be talking about sex trafficking. I'm going to give you the past, present, and future of sex trafficking. Now, according to the 2016 article, The History of Human Trafficking originated or is mostly originally known for the African slave trade that happened a few hundred years ago. Everybody's fully aware of that. Africans were traded off, sold and bought by Europeans and sent around the freaking globe. Okay, that was one of the largest scale, if not the largest scale of human trafficking that we'd seen in our time. After that, we moved on to what was called the white slavery, which actually wasn't an enslavement of Caucasian people as a whole, but mostly of sexual slavery of white women. So that happened actually not too long after the African slave trade. And it wasn't just by other white men, it was also by some African people as well who either escaped captivity or hadn't been captive yet. Then we saw in World War I, after World War I actually, that the veil to human trafficking was blown apart because it was more than just white people being trafficked at that time. It actually turned into a lot of different races of women being sexually trafficked, and that kind of blew the top off of that. And so now we're going to move to the present of human trafficking. We have some more from the article 56 Little Known Human Trafficking Facts. Is that about 30 million people have been trafficked internationally over the entire globe. About 80% of those people, or 24 million people, have been trafficked for sexual exploitation. Of those 24 million people, 80% of them, which is about 19.2 million people, are under the age of 24. Kind of just reiterating the importance of those numbers because your children could end up being there. Now, what are some possible futures to human trafficking? Well, according to the 2015 article, Human Trafficking, Past, Present, and Future, there will be a point where it's more likely for you to get human trafficked than it is for you to get into a car accident. Think about how many cars are on the road. There is a possibility that at one point in your life, it is more likely that you are to get kidnapped or stolen than it is for you to get hit by a car. Another possible future is the fact that it is going to start hitting a lot closer to home. If this isn't getting caught under control, it is more likely that someone you know directly or indirectly, like a neighbor or somebody in your town, more often are going to be trafficked. And although it is becoming an international problem, it is actually becoming a lot more closer to home because of technology, because of all the new ways of transportation that we have. Now, I'm going to pass it off to Natalie Travis, who's going to talk to us about Tyler's answer to human trafficking. Don't stop the video. Pop here. Basis of human trafficking. Facts. Yes. Now we'll be giving our conclusion. So today we talked about human trafficking. We talked about all the problems that can stem with that, and we talked about the solutions of human trafficking. We gave an in-depth look to human trafficking and how it affects our world specifically. Things that you can do as an audience member is that you can go on and sign the U.S. Institution Against Human Trafficking petition. It's online if you look up USI human trafficking. You can also be more alert at home and in your areas where you're noticing things that are just more out of place, noticing cars that shouldn't be there. We know that it's not an easy problem. It's not a problem that's going to go away overnight. It's a problem worth fighting for our children and our children's children to be able to play outside until the street lights come on, like we used to. Thank you.
You're so handsome.
This is my group.